I'm the one. Who the hell are you to negotiate with me? So yeah.
I think that if Keanu was a Jedi, he would be the Jedi to just turn the opponent's lightsaber off. They're like doing all the fancy stuff, and he's
Yeah.
just like using the Force to
He,
turn the lightsaber off. And they're like, "What are you doing?"
yeah,
And, he's
yeah,
like,
yeah.
and then he
He'd
just
be
like walk away. He like Force pushes them away, and like,
he'd be like the eco-friendly Jedi. He'd be like, the carbon emissions from a lightsaber. Like, we gotta stop this. And he'd be like the first Jedi to like just legitimately surf. I'm not talking like Silver, by the way, that's the total who you should play, would be the Silver Surfer.
I'm down.
But beyond that, not talking like some really magical surfboard. Like legit, it's an old school surfboard. Just like, he show up all late but chill to the
Yeah.
fight. Like, and like he would stop Order 66 going, but
Be
why?
excellent to each other.
Yeah, that's he tried to be excellent to each other, and
Right.
they'd be like, nah. And
The clone troopers get Order 66 from Palpatine,
yeah,
and Keanu just steps up and he's like, be excellent to each other. He just cycles through all of his big stuff. He's like, he
bro.
starts off as Ted Theodore Logan,
There
and
it
then
is.
when they start shooting,
I
he
love
goes
that he's
straight
always
into
Theodore too. Like,
John
he
Wick.
explain. Yeah. And you know what would really happen is that poor Adam Driver would show up at some point, just all angry, and just be as Ben Solo, and just be like, yeah, no, like, where's the anger at, dude? Like, he would just like heal him. Just like put his hand, like, he wouldn't even actually touch him.
Right.
He, like, you know how Darth does the Force choke?
Mm-hmm.
Keanu would do like the
Force hug.
like the Force hug.
The
Like,
Force hug.
Yes. Yeah. I think we just, George Lucas, because we know you're listening. I think we just added something to episode. What would it be now? Would it be episode 10 at this point?
Yeah, but you know what? You can skip all that. Just start over. Just do a new thing, man. Just we're all for it. It's okay.
Okay. We just number one just wrote probably our next
a new saga. We want a new saga.
Yeah. And we're gonna have go ahead and write it down, brother. We're gonna have to if next week or the week after, we should really do the new saga and just cast like, so who we think would be in those main roles. I think we just cast Han, but who's Luke? Who's Leia? Of course, who's Vader? I already know who my Vader would be.
Samuel Jackson.
Yeah. Come on, dude.
I know.
Of course. Or actually, instead of it being, or have him as the new Obi-Wan and go, these are not the droids you're looking for, motherfucker. And
everybody just starts fucking shit up.
Yeah. Like, all the Jedi would now have the fro.
Yeah. Samurai Jack. Samurai Jack.
Yeah.
Oh, dude. Yeah.
Okay. We give too much stuff away for free, but let's get to it, my friend.
Awesome. Sounds good. Well, we've been recording for a few minutes because I was having so much fun.
So why
don't you go ahead and what's your shout outs for the week, man?
Oh, so my shout outs for the week is I went and saw Kelly Madison, our mutual barber. He hooked me up, took the beard down a little bit. Here's the deal. The gray was getting a little too noticeable. I like the fuller beard. You pull it off way much better. By the way, Cotton Fluids, really good beer. Add some spike to it, or as I'm drinking tonight, Crown Royal sweet tea. With that being said, Kelly hooked me up as always. Also, really good. Again, if you're looking for a late night treat to hide from the kiddos, they now have, probably not nothing new, but you can now buy Cuervo infused chocolate, which is amazing.
I've had that before.
It combines two of my favorite things, alcohol and sugar. And one last thing, last Tuesday was my birthday, so I got a lot of shout outs, a lot of love, I got gifts from friends, family, even some of my students. So I just want to just say to everyone that helped me celebrate, I appreciate it. Looking forward to my next trip around the sun, and away we go, sir. So what about you?
Well, first of all, happy birthday, man. I'm glad you had a good time.
We're knocking it back. Yes,
man,
sir.
So you and your kid are pretty close in birthdays.
His is July 1st, mine's July 18th. Yes, sir.
Yeah. Whoa, what did I just hit? Okay, cool. Awesome. Let's
So
see
only the
here.
best, as it was brought up to me a few times, only the very best people are born in the month of July.
Awesome. I'll co-sign that.
Yeah.
And
By the
you know
way,
what? I believe you.
Bradley, did you know that I share a birthday one with I Am Groot, Vin Diesel,
Nice.
and Nelson Mandela?
See,
So I think
I see
can
why
you,
July
yeah,
18th is so
yes. Can
perfect.
you see, like, I feel like I am the amalgamation of Mandela and Diesel.
Oh, 100%.
I think Vin Diesel might be only like a couple years older than me, but I
Yeah.
think he is older. But if you combine Nelson Mandela and Vin Diesel, come on now.
But when you're talking in terms of awesomeness levels,
Sure.
that's what we have to go here on. And I think you fit right in there on the other July 18th birthdays,
Yes.
if
Yes.
not even in the lead a little bit
You know
from
what?
Nelson Mandela
I
and
won't say that.
Vin
I
and
will
I am
say
Groot.
it's kind of like Cap and Iron Man. Like
Right.
we co-lead, or
Mhm.
even like Thor and Star Lord. They have that weird kind of awkward silence. Also, a little possible, underlying sexual attraction.
Mhm.
That's pretty much like would be me and
So what you're saying is
I said,
that
"Do you, boo boo?"
you
Because I've
went
already got us off the
into
rails,
you went under the bed and
sir.
found the
I
box
I,
under the bed.
I found this freedom, sir. I found this. I found this freedom. Yeah. So basically, what I'm saying is Nelson Mandela and I may have, going now, may have reenacted the pawn shop scene from Pulp Fiction,
Oh, right.
or
Okay,
the movie
movie.
scene from Shawshank. Make your pick, or the entirety of the crime game.
I'm speechless. I am 100% speechless, man. Good job. Woo!
Yes,
All
sir.
right. I don't have much of shout outs today. I've been working my butt off at the theater with getting ready for the Barbie movie and Oppenheimer. I had a really good turnout for Barbie. So my shout outs are going to go to everybody that I worked with, and dude, all of the uh reels and TikToks that I made for the Barbie movie because we had so many people. We made a really cool backdrop and everything. So it was actually the Insidious Red Door that we turned into Barbie. Check it out. Let's see here. All right,
Oppenheimer,
sir.
by the way, both are getting incredible reviews, and Oppenheimer, I think they've said may go down as his most critically acclaimed movie, and that's saying something. So,
Yeah, it is. Um, it's not my favorite Christopher Nolan movie, but
okay,
it is definitely up there. It's a little bit different. We'll get it. We'll get into Oppenheimer
I'm
here in a
sure.
little bit
All
for
right.
sure. All right, now Brian, what was your TV show, movie, and other thing of the week?
All right, sir. So I'm going to start off with my show of the week because, sir, as busy as you have been this weekend, I don't know if you noticed it. It just came on my radar at 4 a.m. on Friday morning because I was up, which is they have released a special episode of the series Invincible. So have you checked out Adam Eve?
I have not. I have not yet. I think I might do that tonight.
It is, first off, I think we universally enjoy the Invincible show.
Yes.
And this is not a spoiler. They do at the end of the episode give you the release date for season 2 of Invincible, which is going to be November 3rd. So we still got a little bit of a wait, but it's
Nice.
coming out in November, not as far as you might think. And it's really, again, no sport. I won't get into spoilers, but it really is the telling of her origin story. And what I really like about Invincible is that it shows you the weight of being a powered person,
Mhm.
especially a young person with powers on them. And they do this in a way, and this will kind of end my discussion on it, is her powers are reality. So one of my favorite characters, which Layla Tamar did a decent job of, but I've not seen done really well, is Firestorm, one of my absolute favorite
Yeah.
characters. And for those of you that are uninitiated, because we're about to go nerd deep, Firestorm's powers basically are he can change anything that's not organic, right? Anything that's an inanimate object, he can change it to anything he wants to. He's only bound by his imagination. That's a heavy power. Adam Eve can basically change reality. So it actually talks about if you're a young person and you have that, what that means. So they do a really good job of not only showing her journey to her alter ego, but just as she's discovering it. It's done phenomenally well. And we possibly may get a few cameos from folks who got done really well in Invincible. So I probably shared too much, but that was without a doubt my show of the week. And since you haven't seen it yet, my lone Beardy, I'm gonna give it 4.25 Beardies. It's fantastic.
All right, you got a movie of the week?
Meal of the week. The only thing new I watched was they cloned Tyrone. Because you got to watch something that's got that type of title.
I
The,
saw that.
the Netflix show. So I'm going to jump to the Beardy. I give it 3.5.
Okay.
It's a really cool premise. John Boyega is fantastic. I never thought I'd say this, but they gave me a little too much Jamie Foxx.
Ooh.
Jamie Foxx is doing basically his best Ruby Rod from Fifth Element. Just that high pitched, really quick banter that when Chris Tucker did it was great because it was that character doesn't come until about middle of the movie, and then he's just in spots here and there, and he played off of Bruce Willis really, really well, right? This one, they try to have that similar dynamic with the John Boyega character who plays Tyrone, who is much more the lower key, not necessarily straight man, but isn't as animated. The problem is this character is from the beginning throughout the movie. So after about a half hour of him doing that, it just starts to get old. The movie is really interesting. It's kind of an interesting take on some sci-fi tropes. I would definitely give it a watch, but unfortunately, had they scaled back the Jamie Foxx piece, at least when I watched it, I think it would have been a little bit better. But again, very interesting. And John Boyega is John Boyega, and it's fantastic. So
awesome. So my TV show of the week was Spec Ops Lioness, the new Taylor Sheridan show.
Oh, okay.
It's got stars Zoe Saldana, and I think we may get into it a little bit more.
Sure.
Did you get to watch it yet?
Have not.
Okay, so I think there's 2 episodes out, and I watched the first one, and dude, like this was freaking awesome.
Okay.
When we get into the kind of the main stuff, we may, if we have time, I want to go through some of the cast and where you might have seen some of these people, since we'll be doing a little bit of that today once we get in the show. But my Beardies for that, I'm going to give that a straight up 4 Beardies.
Nice.
Great, dude. I can't wait for you to watch it and hear your thoughts. It has Nicole Kidman's in it.
Nice.
Some other people that you've recognized. So, and we'll get into that. But
perfect.
Now, as far as my movies, we're going 2 of them.
Is there any chance that somewhere Zoe Saldana gets thrown off of a very high ledge by her stepfather?
I think that might happen.
Okay.
And then there's going to introduce time travel to bring her back, but not really the same character. That's just not as good.
Is it possible that she goes to visit Bernie Mac, R.I.P., with her boyfriend Ashton Kutcher?
I'm gonna say yeah. I'm gonna say yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And then one last question: is there any chance she grows up as a child of a murdered South American drug dealer / revolutionary, and becomes Colombiana?
Yes. 100% yes.
Facts.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
100%.
Okay.
Yeah.
And here's the last take on Zoe Saldana: whether her skin is brown, green, or somewhere in between. Yes. Oh yes. Thank you, Zoe Saldana.
Thank you.
Yes, because that's the candy that Daddy likes. All right, continue, sir.
All right, my movie, no surprise here. I'm going to say Barbenheimer so I can get away with saying two movies, Barbie and Oppenheimer. I have watched them both.
Well done.
We're going to get into the cast, the supporting cast of them here shortly. Here's what I'll say about this. Barbie and Oppenheimer. Okay, so Oppenheimer is a better movie.
As it would be,
Yeah.
as you should expect it to be.
Yeah. And Barbie is so much more fun of a movie.
Again, as it should be.
Yeah. Yeah. It's Barbie. I didn't go into it with any expectations.
Okay.
And I just thought it was a good, fun movie. It didn't take itself too serious. It was
Good.
everything that you wanted it to be and more.
Good.
Man, it's my wife is gonna go with each one of the girls solo. I mean, like,
Okay.
it's a good movie. It is exactly what the movie theaters needed. And then you have the seriousness of Oppenheimer, and Oppenheimer, man, it plays like a documentary,
Good.
and like you really don't even know Robert Downey Jr. is in this movie for a while. Like you're
Okay.
like, holy shit, that's
At any
Robert
point,
Downey
does he put
Jr.
on a suit, or is he in a cave building something?
You know, see, and that was the reason why, man. I mean, they went black and white with Robert Downey
The
Jr.
Cillian Murphy, does he have any like gas or anything that he does that's fear inducing?
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, there was a cloud behind him a few times.
Sure. All
Yeah,
right. I really want to hear more about Oppenheimer, but I
yeah.
do have this thing because I'm going to look at this
I
film.
mean, it's definitely the bomb.
Well done. So here's one of the things that I would love to see. I would love to see. Has Cillian Murphy ever been in a comedy? Because now that I think about it, has he ever done anything just for yucks? Everything about him is so serious, which I think is a good thing. But when I think like I'm like, what? Because I mean, I think I would call him an A-lister at this point.
Yeah,
Like, has he ever done? I mean, De Niro did comedy. It does, like I say, he's not here anymore. De Niro's still with us. But even those things, even those classically, those actors think of being very serious, stern, austere folks, they still delve into different things, you know. I mean, he made way more money off Meet the Parents in that series than he should have. But I'm just curious, has Cillian Murphy ever done maybe like his first role? But I'm curious if he ever done like any like rom com or just yuck movie. And I feel like you've done some research there.
yeah. I'm looking it up right now. Man, not. Oh, he's in Cold Mountain, Girl with a
Yep,
Pearl
yep,
Earring.
yep,
Oh
yep.
man, um, let's
And
see.
all I hear him is in going the bat. Man, that was just love you some Cillian Murphy. All right.
Yeah, really, man. I mean, he's the serious movies more,
Takes himself seriously, which is
and
fine. Yeah.
in horror movies, he's done
Yep.
several horror
Yep.
movies.
Yep.
Really, huh? Interesting. And yeah, he was in Sunshine. Do you remember that movie?
Yeah.
Great movie. Awesome.
Well, first off, your name is Cillian. I mean, come on,
Yeah.
man. That doesn't really lend itself to doing like Dumb and Dumber 4 or something. So yeah.
Yep.
All right. Perfect, sir.
All right. Well, with that, let's go ahead and hit that
Funky music.
funky music. You got it, buddy. Hello and welcome to the Fandemic. This is a podcast that celebrates all the things that we feel are awesome in hopes of spreading our fandom to you. In a Lone Star, I go through the best bad reviews that I can find based on title alone. In Revenge of the Nerds, we tell the stories that could have happened before and after your favorite movies, TV shows, and so much more. In the Fandemic, we look at the supporting cast of properties we adore or tribute our favorite actors, movies, or it's been a while. We just catch up on everything and so much more. Plus, I also have interesting conversations with amazing people. I'm the self-proclaimed emperor of awesome, and this is the unverified twin of Dwayne The Rock Johnson in the eyebrow, the unverified twin of Dave Batista in the head wrinkles,
Take it to the dome.
and the unverified twin of the one and only Shamar Moore in the nipple.
All about them nips, ladies. All about them nips. Yes,
And
and my
we'll
name.
get
I'm just gonna let you keep it going sexy of the late doing your best ladies man. I dig it.
yeah.
By the way, my name with a classic Cavassier. All right, folks, my name is Brian S. Dillon. The S stands for the harvest. And I know we'll be talking a bit about that.
Yes, we definitely will. And so the main thing we're going to be talking about is we're going to go through the cast of Oppenheimer and Barbie. But you know what? Since you brought it up, this is a perfect time.
Yes, sir.
Let's talk a little bit of Secret Invasion because that was almost my TV show of the week.
It was right there. Again,
Dude,
had
it was
had
so
Adam Eve
close.
not dropped, it would have been yes, mine as well. Yeah, yep. So again, and I know we keep saying once the season wraps, we're going to kind of do a deeper dive on Secret Invasion. Just really quick to bring people up with our real quick update. So the idea or the premise behind Secret Invasion is number one, Secret Invasion stars Samuel Jackson, where the L stands for, I dropped the full one earlier, as Nick Fury. And the idea that Nick Fury is now trying to save us from the Skrull invasion. Skrull is an alien race that can look like us down to the DNA. So even a blood test would not reveal who a Skrull. And we've had, I think, was this week 4? I believe episode 4
this
that
is
just
week
dropped.
5.
All right, so we are getting now close to the season finale, and really what we found is, again, without getting too much, we're going to deeper dive, is we see every week someone that we think is a Skrull, someone we think is one of our favorite characters, may or may not be a Skrull, and making us distrust people, dealing with Nick Fury and all his Nick Furiness. And Bradley, before I pose a question to you that I sent by a text I wanted to bring up, is we saw the return of something that's been missing far too long from one Nicholas J. Fury, which is the eye patch.
Oh, dude, yes, we were, and that was I'm sure you figured this out. That was the moment that I texted you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, bro. That actually when he's in there, and again, he's getting ready to go to battle, right? So he's getting his, he grabbed all of his gear, his gun, all the things. But when the eye patch came out, it goes, you know what? Now I'm serious, right?
Yeah,
right?
yeah. I was just toying around now.
Yeah.
Now,
I just kind of trying to meld into the background by not wearing the eye patch that sticks out. You know what? Now, oh no, we're getting really serious. So I am super excited to see what's going, but I know we want to spend most of our time tonight getting to it going nerd deep.
Nerd deep.
So we're going to do something that my G.I. Joe did when I was a kid, and that's getting to know Barbie on a very, very deep and personal level. But before we do that, sir, I actually have a question for you.
Yes.
Regarding, well, actually, I got a couple. So number one, again, spoiler alerts really quickly. So we know that Gravik has now become a super-ish Skrull.
Yeah.
Did you catch the 2 DNA that he was able to integrate? So the 2 individuals whose powers he can now duplicate.
Groot is one.
Yes, which you call that just by how he showed it.
Yep.
And that actually is Flora Colossus, so that's a Groot. And then the other one was Colobsidian. And do you know who Colobsidian is?
No.
It goes all the way back to the Mark II Infinity War with the Avengers.
Okay.
You remember the child of Thanos who loses an arm at the beginning?
Yes.
Later on, thanks to Bruce Banner's quick thinking, met an untimely ending forever. That is Colobsidian. So we got to see some sneak peeks of what his new Groot DNA allows him to do. We'll see what happens with some of the color city, which I'm assuming will probably
Hmm.
display probably a strength. I just want to see if you just really quick caught that one. But now here is my early, and I'm curious if I'm going to be anywhere close to my fan cast as part of the finale of the Secret Invasion. Are you ready, sir?
I'm ready.
All right, so we're gonna let the events of the show take place, and here's my take on what I think will happen. Number one, at some point, the good guys either win or force some type of stalemate. All right. So we've seen a lot of the characters Sonya Fallsworth, who is one of the execs of MI6. She's that's
Hmm.
the lady that was in the Cemetery of Fury and in those recent episodes.
Yeah, frenemy.
Yep. Exactly. And that plays into this. So,
Hmm.
number one, I don't think Gravik dies. I think maybe we're led to believe Gravik dies, but I think at the end of the final episode of this season, we're going to get an extra scene. And I think we're going to see Gravik beaten, battered, injured, wake up in some type of cell slash, it's because since this will be in Europe, a
Hmm.
laboratory. He finds his ability to shapeshift, much less use his super scroll abilities, somehow being compromised. Now, remember a couple episodes ago when a scroll was captured, Sonya actually had this poison that worked
Yes.
on the scroll. So here
Yes.
is my thought. He's gonna wake up again, and because so much of this series, in fact, almost all of it, takes place in Europe. He's going
Hmm.
to wake up in his technologically advanced prison slash laboratory. He will be unable to use his abilities. Falsworth will talk to him, basically beginning very gently interrogating her Falsworth way, and goes, if you're wondering why you can't use your abilities, you can thank our benefactor. Or she'll say like, you can thank my benefactor. And as she leaves, the last thing she goes is, welcome to Latvia.
I. Oh. Yes.
You like that?
Absolutely. Yes. You know how big of a fan of Doctor Doom I am,
Yes. So if folks are catching up,
and this would work perfect.
right?
Perfect. This is a perfect
Right?
way to and no, didn't they introduce Latveria in Falcon and the Winter Soldier?
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. Absolutely.
So I mean
But
it's
it's
there.
really just the name, right? We haven't gotten into the
Right.
crux of it. So you've already shown that there's some parts of the world that are
Hmm.
playing chess while other places checkers, like Wakanda, right?
Yeah.
So if you use Latvia is basically the evil
Mhm.
Wakanda, and you've got them set up, and that's where she gets a lot of her. She could even be a sleeper agent herself, right? So
Yeah.
she could
She could be
that
a
could be her,
Doombot.
that could be part of her citizenry,
Yeah.
whatever. And she has been a sleeper agent throughout getting invested in MI6, and now
Oh.
you've given Doom the ultimate weapon. And if you give Doom the ultimate weapon of a super scroll, we got to get somebody. Yep,
Not well,
absolutely.
somebody, but for somebody's.
For somebody's.
For
So that's what
somebody's.
I think. We talked before about maybe there's a file that has something
Mhm.
to do with the Baxter building or Reed Richards got it called in. I say to do the opposite. I think you give us the big bad in the next season of whatever happens after this, or maybe you drop it somewhere in some of the other products that are coming. But I think this is it. If I was this is my fan cast, and so if I'm right, we doing this well before the final episode. So if I'm right, we got this down. I think they use this as a way of bringing in Doctor Doom.
Yeah, so we are recording this on the 23rd of July, and it is 7:50 p.m. So
Yes,
we'll go
sir.
ahead and say that outright right
Yes,
now.
sir.
Right.
Absolutely.
Right. And you know what? Just for video proof, just in case. I love this so much. Can you see that?
Yes, sir.
All
Yes,
right. All
sir. All
right.
right. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh man.
Just
So do you think we're gonna get Anthony Mackie's Captain America
in this.
in Secret Invasion?
No, I think because there's only so
Okay.
many episodes, I don't think we get that. I think maybe we do get some type. The crossover makes more sense with
Mm,
these two than their other shows and what they've done at this point. So I can see you maybe dropping something like that. Maybe we get a Baron Nemo sighting, something of that nature. I don't think we. I think it might be a little early, but you know what? While I say that, the more I'm thinking it through, they've done such a great job of playing up the similarities and kind of the internal brotherhood. Okay, for anyone that this is a trigger, here you go. Woke alert. They did a really good job of that scene with Rhodey and Fury talking about me being men of color, part of the Avengers, part of really high level government jobs, and what that means.
yeah.
Well, the third member of that trio would be Captain America, Anthony Mackie, a former Falcon, Sam Wilson. So potentially we would get that. I think maybe not for this, just given the amount of episodes, but I think we definitely will at some point see that the overload. Because again, and this is the last part of it. That's one of the questions which again makes her question even interesting. When I said maybe she's got something to do with Doom, remember she asked him why had he called in the Avengers? If you're in this war with
Yeah.
these powered individuals who minimally every person in their species can infiltrate. So every person in their species could be, if they still had the intention, which we got to see that is definitely not the entirety of it, which I like that Marvel's doing that. They're not doing the whole easy, oh, every green alien's spooky. No, they're absolutely
Yeah.
showing that there's textures within that. But that could have been seen as her kind of maybe poking it for information. Do we got to deal with the Avengers? So he confirmed that not. He cannot. That he's not calling them in. After gave a rationale why. And so again, if she really is somewhat duplicitous, again, I really hope there's some connection with Doom. I think that again plays into this.
Nice. Very good. I like it, man. Dude, I want that to happen.
Yes,
I'm looking forward to Wednesday and checking out and watching Secret Invasion and geeking
yes,
out.
yes.
So
And by the way, Marvel, if I'm right, obviously, I just want to. It will be the biggest fan win ever. If I'm just like, yes,
yeah.
yes, yes. All right, sir.
All
So
right.
I know we want to get into Barbie. If we have a little time, I got a couple tats for you related to Barbie. We got time later in the show.
Yeah, absolutely.
Let's do it.
We'll do Barbie and then we'll do a
All
tap
right,
for there. Okay.
let's hit it.
All right, so what I wanted to do is everybody knows the top billing cast of these movies, these big movies that come out,
Sure,
and especially in the Fandemic, we're about spreading the fandom, things that we like, we want you to like too, and there's a lot of people that go into movies. This is one of these things. The strike is really about how much actually goes into these things that we
sure,
love. So I wanted to spend some time. I want to go through some of the cast, and where have we seen some of these people before? These other things that they like or we might like. So we all know Margot Robbie, Harley
yes,
Quinn, everything. I mean, we all know Margot Robbie.
yep,
We all know Ryan Gosling.
yep,
All right, so I'm going to take those two out of the cast, out of what we're going to talk about. And the first one, and all the girls are Barbie and all the guys are Ken, pretty much. So we're going to talk about Issa Rae. Now, when I say Issa Rae, Brian, does anything pop into your head with that name?
Well, first off, she is just fantastic in all the things that she's done. So number one is Insecure, which I am a big fan of
Yes.
that show. And I'm really thrilled to see that Insecure now is also on Netflix. So if you're not familiar with Insecure, it was on HBO during this original run. Now the show is wrapped. You
Mhm.
can actually watch the entirety of the series actually on the Netflix app as well, Netflix platform. Issa Rae is fantastic.
Yeah, and that was the big thing that I want to bring up that people would see her for.
Mhm.
She's going to be a bigger actress, 100%.
And she's
So,
also started. They actually have a return again. If you
yep.
have the Max app,
Dark
they've actually
City.
Dark City, and they relaunched Project Greenlight, the Matt
Mm.
Damon, Ben Affleck, where they kind of find an aspiring director and project, and they help them take it to fruition. It is her and a few other, again, primarily directors of color, that are actually doing this. So she actually has her feet in a lot of places. And one last one, and I was quoted, and it's been probably over a year now. She actually has a very small role, but a great role in the show Black AF.
Hmm.
which is a take on Black, is actually by the creator of Blackish and Grownish and Mixedish. It actually is a fictionalization of his life. She has a spot in that, but yes, Issa Rae is fantastic.
Awesome. All right. Now here's one that we have heard a little bit about. And so Brian, Kate McKinnon, we a lot of people know Kate McKinnon. Do you want to skip her and just kind of talk about some of these actresses that we really don't know very well?
Well, I think we can spend less time on Kate. So, Kate, number
Okay.
one, a lot of people know her from a lot of sketch comedy. If you don't know her from that, she to me was the best part of
Ghostbusters.
the Ghostbusters. Yes. That movie. I wasn't a big fan of it just by the fact I didn't think it was. I thought I personally liked it better than Ghostbusters 2. I really
Hmm.
did. I don't think it was good as the original Ghostbusters. I don't think it was good as Ghostbusters Afterlife. But yeah, she is actually an extremely talented actress and comedian. So yeah, so I personally am a big fan of Kate McKinnon. So there she plus she's a Columbia grad. So I think
Yep.
it's a great we show to be funny. You typically got to be pretty smart.
And one thing that you didn't mention in there, she is actually the new Miss Fiona Frizzle in the Magic School Bus.
I did not know that really.
Yes. Yep.
Yes, yes. Who's
She
gonna?
also was in Bombshell.
Yep.
Excuse me.
The
Let's
big
see.
thing is who's gonna play Ralphie because that's really what's important when we talk about the Magic School Bus. And again, one of the better theme songs ever is the Magic School Bus.
Let's see. Anything else in there that to note of her?
Maybe not for Kate, but I can
Brian.
tell you that because I went to public school, if you sat in the back in most of the buses I was in, especially when I hit middle school, it could also be a magical ride.
Yes, it absolutely could.
'Cause-
All right. Now, here's one I was looking at earlier. Alexandra Ship. She's also plays Barbie in Barbie because they're all Barbies.
They're all Barbies, yes.
Yes, and when I say that name, does anything pop into your brain real quick?
I think she was in the Aaliyah biopic. I think.
She was actually one of our favorite X-Men. She was
Was she a
Storm.
voice actress?
No, she was Storm
She was
in
Storm?
Apocalypse and
Okay.
Dark Phoenix. Yes. Um, yeah, that's where I remember she was in Straight Outta
Okay.
Compton,
Oh,
or her
right?
big stuff. But yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, like other things she's been the co-founder, The Good Half, Asking for It, Father of the Bride Part 3. But I guess that's just a short.
Yeah.
Endless. But yeah, Shaft. She was in Shaft
Yep.
back in
Yep. Yep.
2019. But yeah, she was Aurora Monroe in
Yes.
the new old X-Men, I guess.
I mean, and given her age, again, and I hope, and we've talked a lot about our excitement of seeing things, that have been farmed out to like Sony and others, them coming back all into kind of big Marvel umbrella. Hulk is back, X-Men are there, Fantastic Four and Doctor Doom and those things. Deadpool is probably the biggest one there. Deadpool and Wolverine probably the two biggest
Mhm.
characters we talked about. But if they could keep some little continuity, we saw that with how to handle Quicksilver in WandaVision. If they could keep some of the continuity and keep some of those actors who really, I would be cool with James McAvoy
Mhm.
coming over if they're going to do a younger Professor X. We already saw the use of Patrick Stewart, and she would be, and I really like the portrayal of Storm for
She
no,
gave us
and this,
Mohawk Storm.
you beat me to it.
She
I
gave us
love me some
Mohawk
Halle
Storm.
Berry, but they gave us Mohawk Storm, which was my first Storm, and you never forget your first.
So
And I think that also fits with the current, again, if they somehow integrate her into Wakanda, I think that would I think I like her better than the Halle Berry person. The Halle Berry, or someone
mm,
else if they recast it.
you know, there's two people that is acceptable to be married to Storm. One is Black Panther. Two
RIP.
is
Or it could be,
Wolverine.
well, hang on, let's back up a little bit. I was gonna say RIP to Shakala, but I mean, if it was Shuri, I mean, I wouldn't. hate that.
I mean, I'm
I
okay
mean,
with that, but
I wouldn't ruin my day.
no, no, no,
I
no.
might,
I
I might go to the movies alone and sit in the back and you know,
yeah,
this, you know, maybe never mind. Okay, but as you're right, her and Wolverine, and
yes,
forgive me, I believe there, and I'm not, and I feel really embarrassed. I can't think of the name of the character, but I know in one version, not only did her and Wolverine get married, they actually have a kid. I
yeah.
just can't remember the kid's name.
Oh, you know what? I'm gonna look that up now because you're absolutely right. What
But I believe I
is
remember the kid. The way to describe the kid was the kid had his mom's elemental powers but had dad's temper, which could
right?
be like, huh, interesting. That could be an interesting combination there. And they played up that, especially with the uh they definitely in different versions of it. There are definitely parts that they kind of lead to it when it's Halle Berry's role as Storm. Her there was they hinted a little bit between Storm and Wolverine there being some
Mhm.
connection. By the way, Wolverine may be the best example in comics of a dude who's friend zoned and refuses to accept it.
Yeah.
To be
Uh,
fair, if you're friend zoned over Scott Summers, it's like, really?
well, did you know Wolverine has a kid with Mystique in an alternate in a future
Really?
timeline
Okay.
called Rays? Yeah, holy cow. Torrent is her name.
There it is. There it is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
I
Torrent.
mean, he's not immortal, but when you age super duper slowly, and let's be real, the brooding act is kind of an attractive thing, for a lot of people. I'd expect him to have a few kids running around that aren't
Yeah.
clones.
Mhm.
They get at least got to talk about his clone a little bit in Wolverine. But yeah, yeah. So by the way, I know that the SAG strike has really affected Deadpool 3. But do you think we're gonna get an X-23 sighting in Deadpool 3?
I hope so. I don't know, man. That's a tough one. I think if we do, it won't be that one. I think
Okay.
that maybe we'll get a different one.
All right.
Um, because she was really good in it, and I would
Good.
be okay
Now,
if they
now,
gave her a
now,
movie.
don't. Yeah, the only thing with that is that kind of happened a bit into the future. So
Right.
timeline. And the other thing also is, um, uh, we talked about this before, and I don't want to get too much on the tangents as I'm known to do.
Mhm.
But we've talked before about with them bringing X-Men, and we already saw Sir Patrick Stewart in Multiverse of Madness reprise his role as Professor X. In Wolverine, though, we actually saw the end of that version of Professor X.
Mhm.
So that again, we talked about this with Marvel and having so many different timelines. That I watched the original Deadpool earlier today, and he talked about between McAvoy and Stone, all these timelines get confusing. They've got a lot of work to do with that franchise, just making it succinct.
Oh,
So
yeah.
yeah, which I'm
But
sure they'll do,
and
but it's
Deadpool's gonna
just
kill it all.
that there's that.
Yeah.
There's I kind of want a Wolverine Deadpool fight that it'll never
Oh, it's
end,
gonna happen.
right?
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah,
it'll
yeah.
just never end, right?
Right. Oh man. All right. Let's see here. Let's do a couple more people from the Barbie movie. I
All
want to
right.
talk about Emma Mackey.
Emma
Does that
Mackey.
name sound familiar?
It 100% sounds familiar. Give me a second here. Emma Mackey. Emma Mackey. Uh
Death on the Nile. She's in Death on the Nile, the TV series, Sex
oh, I know her
Education.
from Sex Education, right?
Yep, yep.
She was Maeve.
Yes, she was.
Okay, that is a show. I can't remember when because and I know it's come out. At least the most recent season came out since I started doing the podcast. Talk about a show that was tailor built for a bunch of nerds. You give us you give us Maeve, but honestly, you give us Gillian Anderson as a therapist with striking boundary issues. I don't know about you, sir, but the amount of fan comic fiction I wrote starting during the X File days, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Oh, dude. Yeah, you know
that's
what? We need to talk. We need to do an episode on X Files. Oh, really bad.
Yeah, yeah. I think my mom found one of my stories, and I had to go talk to someone for a couple of weeks. But anyway, that's beside the point. Continue, sir.
All right, let's talk about. Do you know who Anna Cruz Kanye is? Kane.
Do not, but break her down to me, sir.
All right. Do you remember the movie Another Earth?
Yes, 100%. Actually, I'm one of the
Yeah.
few people. Remember, fear is a choice. Now, do not misunderstand me, Bradley. Danger is very real, but fear is a choice. The best part of that movie was Zoe Kravitz, who was in it for like 10 minutes.
Yep.
And the horrible, weird accents they gave everybody. It was, and last thing, because Another Earth is one of my favorite bad movies. It really is.
Right.
But if you remember the scene when they're on the spaceship and everybody had like buckle up because they're getting hit by like an asteroid storm, just go back and watch the movie if it doesn't strike your memory. They had these little elastic straps that didn't look like they would keep their vegetables from falling out of the cart, but it's supposed to hold a human being in an asteroid storm. At that moment, I go, "This is going to be the best bad movie I've seen," and it did not disappoint.
Yes, you are correct on that.
So, who did she play in After Earth, though?
She was Claire.
Okay,
All right. Now, when we're talking about Oppenheimer,
yes,
I'm not going to give much. We're gonna skip Cillian Murphy, but although we are definitely going to go over his filmography sometime probably soon.
I think we'll we just start going down Nolan films, and there he is, like in
Mhm.
pretty much all of them. Yeah,
Same thing. We're gonna skip Emily Blunt. We've all heard of Emily Blunt. I mean,
yes.
I actually feel really weird saying skipping Emily Blunt, but or passing the blunt. But
John,
yeah,
what John Krasinski never did.
no,
Hey,
he didn't. And dude, I'm still watching Jack Ryan. I only got one episode left of season 3, and then I got to watch season 4. Dude, Jack Ryan is a great show.
it is. But again, proof, proof. John Krasinski and Emily Blunt's relationship is proof. There's hope for all nerds out there. Okay, there's
Mhm.
proof for every nerd walking the planet. That again. By the way, it is a pot for every lid. I truthfully believe that. But the fact that John Krasinski is married to and has had 2 kids with Emily Blunt, good
First
job
hold,
out of you,
first
sir.
off. Yes.
Good job out of you. And you know what, Matt Damon? I understand where you go. You know what? I don't want to be president. No, I want no Emily. I don't want to be president. Whatever,
Matt
whatever, man.
Damon.
Yes, yes, yeah. By the
Team
way,
America. Fuck yeah.
yeah. By the way, who played his guardian angel in the
Dogma?
Adjustment Bureau?
And what?
Oh, did you not? Okay, so Matt Damon and Emily Blunt were in the Adjustment Bureau together.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, they
Who
were.
was
Okay.
who was his guardian angel? Angel in quotation marks.
Man, I don't remember.
One, Anthony, don't call me Papa Doc, Mackie.
Oh, there you
Cap-
go. Okay.
Captain America was his guardian angel.
I like it. All right. Well, we're going to skip him too. And we're going to skip Robert Downey Jr.
Okay.
because we know all
Because,
this.
yeah, so basically at this point, we have half the Avengers roster in
Oh,
Oppenheimer.
yeah.
For a guy who famously did 2 of the best Batman movies ever. So, yes.
If I was to say the name Eldon Onreich, what would you say?
I would say it sounds like someone from Lord of the Rings.
Alden Ehrenreich. I'm saying his last name probably wrong, but he is famous for portraying and giving name to that one guy, Solo, Han Solo, in Solo, the
Really?
Star Wars story. Yeah, he was in Oppenheimer. Does a fantastic job. He's got a lot of scenes with Robert Downey Jr.
Okay.
And really, I mean that's where you know him from. Let's take a look at a little bit more of his filmography really quick here.
Sure.
He was in Hail Caesar, Beautiful Creatures, Blue Jasmine. He was also he was in one of the first episodes of Supernatural. If you want to see a really young version of
Okay.
him as well.
All right. Dude, he was in Cocaine Bear.
He was also in Cocaine Bear. Yeah, yep. And
All right,
Shadow
fair.
Brother Sunday. Oh, that's the short. Brave New World show. The Yellow Birds. Rules don't apply. So yeah, he's done some good stuff.
Fantastic. And I see he lent his likeness in Star Wars Battlefront 2. Makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, fantastic. Which again proves why so many of us love all the nerd stuff is that it shows great acting. By the way, it was Teen Choice Award for movie actor from by the way, Beautiful Creature. That was a really good movie. I actually really am a big fan
Beautiful
of
Creatures
that.
is a great movie.
Yes,
Yes.
it is. Yes, it is. All right, who else we go? Who's next?
An actor by the name of Scott Grimes.
All I can hear is "Daddy's Gone" from American Dad.
You know
If you
what animated or not animated movie show, but you know what other sci-fi show that we like that he's in?
Oh yeah, of course, the Orville.
Yeah, okay.
He also was in ER, so he's been a
Mhm.
bit. But again, I personally love anything that Scott. Well, he has does sing a little bit in the Orville, but he also famously voiced the child, and I'm blanking on his name real quick. From American Dad. Shoot, I'm gonna binge it tonight probably because that's in my head. But he's a very similar to Ed Sheeran. You see this kind
Michael
of
Bublé.
you see this kind of dorky redheaded cat, but he can really sing.
Mhm.
So again, Scott Grimes, yes, and absolutely loved him in the Orville, loved him in ER, and really enjoyed his time as a voice actor on American Dad. All right.
Did you know he was in Band of Brothers?
Mm-mm.
Yeah, he's credited for all 10 episodes of Band of Brothers. So,
Who was
uh,
he in Band of Brothers?
he
I gotta admit, I've not
was
watched that ad nauseum, but I've seen it a
right,
few
yeah.
times. It's a heavy
Uh,
show, but
it's a very heavy show. He's also
yes,
dude, you know what else he was in? Critters. He was in
yes,
Critters. Yeah.
of course, yeah. That
Yep,
makes
he was Brad Brown in Critters in 1982, and he was in 2 episodes of Who's the Boss?
God, yeah. I think I remember him as a kid actor.
Oh my
I,
gosh, he was in Popeye and Son. There's a a cartoon from the Poland and Charles in Charge.
Steve Smith. I looked him up where he was. Yeah,
Yeah, he's
uh,
uncredited in Star Trek: The Next Generation. Even
but we are forgetting his greatest accomplishment. He was married to Adrian Palicki for about a year. So, well, they're still married. It's been
Mm,
separated.
yeah.
So, who? By the way, what in GI Joe Retaliation? Bad movie, but who did she play?
She plays Scarlet.
Nope, she was Lady J.
Oh, that's right. Yeah,
There is no Scarlet. That was one of
that's
the
right.
rubs. Is that the only person? The only well, I guess there's a couple, but the only based on actual who played them. The only roles that carried over from the first movie to the second, including the same actor playing them, was Snake Eyes and Duke, and we all know what
Mm,
happened with Duke. And a
right.
few minutes into it,
Yes.
which is his second best death scene. His best death scene came in the Hateful Eight. So yeah.
Mhm. All right, Jason Clark. When I say Jason Clark, does anything pop in your head there?
Jason Clark. Oppenheimer has a really big cast. I'm not
Yeah, we're gonna do one more after this one.
okay. I can't think of who Jason Clark was.
Jason Clark is in Zero Dark 30, Dawn of the Planet of the Apes.
Okay,
Yep, he was in Black. He's most of the movies that you recognize him from. He plays a military guy.
gotcha.
Yeah, he was in Serenity actually. Even
Really?
uh,
Okay,
yep, The Man Without a Heart, The Aftermath, Pet Cemetery in 2019.
nice.
The TV miniseries for Catherine the Great. So he's done a lot of good stuff too. And there's one more actor. I want to just say his
I gotta
name in
pause you for
here.
a second though. If he played a man without a heart, does that mean he was in Temple of Doom? You like that?
Well done.
I do what I can.
Uh yes, well the Indiana Jones ends with a pretty big plot hole. So
Okay, you shared. All right, who else you got for me?
Tony Goldwyn.
Oh, first off, he was the president in Scandal.
Yep.
Oh gosh, he's played a lot of different roles. I kind of like him better as a D bag, which is why
Mhm.
I think he was good as a president
Yeah.
in Scandal. Let me think what else he was in off the top of my head. He was in Kiss the Girl. He was in The Sixth Day, right? Because he was
Yes.
the central, no, a very young Tony Goldwyn, but yeah, he actually was the guy that gets cloned. I can't think of the character's name
Mhm.
right now, but really the crux of that movie. And if there's ever cloning that happens, the first person we cloned is Michael Rappaport. Okay. Like, if we're gonna actually clone people, Michael Rappaport should get to the top of the list just because I love me some Michael Rappaport. Okay. But yeah, so I got Tony Golden again. He was in Scandal as the president. He was in Last Samurai. I remember that he was in, and again, as I said before, he was in The Sixth Day. Those are the big ones I remember him from.
He was also in Ghost.
Oh God, he's the friend that's not a
Yep.
friend, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. To be
And
fair, who wouldn't kill Patrick Swayze for a young Demi Moore? Who
I mean,
wouldn't kill R.I.P.
Bruce
Who
Willis.
wouldn't who wouldn't kill Patrick Swayze? I mean, the job's kind of cancer did that for us.
Mhm.
That was dark. But I mean, Demi. Hey, you know what? I ain't mad at you, Tony. I
Right.
ain't mad at you at all. All right.
Also, he was in The Last Samurai
Mm-hmm.
and The Mechanic, Last House on the Left, Murder Mystery 2, more recently Plane, The Hot Zone. He was also in Lovecraft Country and King Richard.
I remember him in Lovecraft Country. I don't know about King Richard. And by the way, can you imagine with the last house on the left if DoorDash goes to the wrong house? No, 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 no. No, you look for the last house. The one's
Yeah.
got all the screaming. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
the one you need to be going to. Yeah, those Amazon packages never made it. Okay.
Oh yeah. All right. Well, that you know what, I wanted to really go over just a couple of actors that but you don't really think of some of the other things. You might want to check them out. Okay. Now, with
And
all that,
was there a Dr. Manhattan sighting in Oppenheimer?
I'm not going to spoil anything.
Okay, fair, fair,
Not
fair,
going to
fair,
spoil anything.
fair.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to tell you right
But I
now,
will tell
if
you
there,
this: Oppenheimer
yes,
was the bomb.
nice.
Yeah, dude, I am not going to get tired of saying that joke at work at all. For everybody that when I ask them what movie they're going to and they say Oppenheimer, I'm like, it's the bomb.
I mean, I mean, for everything I've read, they're already predicting Nolan for an early Oscar nod
Mhm.
anyway. But the only thing that I will say that could have, assuming that the only thing that I think from everything you've told, thing I've heard, I've avoided finding but try to apply. I mean, I know it's a biopic, but we kind of know what happens a little bit.
Yeah, yeah.
But beyond that, if anything was gonna make Oppenheimer better, even though it may not be historically accurate, it would be a glowing blue phallus.
And this is the way. This is the way.
Facts.
Yeah, man. Cool. All right, man.
It's almost like if Jean Smart, after she left Designing Women,
Mm,
she had a box under the bed, and in the box, she pulled it out, and there it was. Yes,
yeah.
sir. And if you're not getting that reference, you have not watched a Watchmen television show that you still is on streaming on Max. You should definitely check out the Watchmen series. By the way, I think. Well, let me ask you, which if we just real quick because I don't want to go
Mm,
for here,
yeah.
but I'm just throwing it out. Looking at characters that we got to know primarily in the movie, I saw them kind of expanded on.
Hmm.
Which one do you think did a better job? How Peacemaker was developed following the Suicide Squad, or the new take on characters from on Watchmen from the movie? The movie's fantastic, by the way.
Yeah, it's great.
I mean, the Watchmen movie is better than the Suicide Squad movie. The Watchmen is gonna go down again as one of the a great movie featuring superheroes versus superhero movie, right?
Hmm.
So it's up there with like we talk about Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, The Dark Knight, Wolverine. I mean, there's some definite. Logan. I keep saying Wolverine. Logan. There's some very specific movies that are like that. Which one of those you think did a better job of really growing the characters? Peacemaker, taking Peacemaker from the Suicide Squad and what we got from the Peacemaker show, or how they handled the characters in The Watchmen.
You know what? They did it in a different way on either one, but I'm gonna have to say Peacemaker,
Sure.
just because, like, when you watch the Watchmen
Yep.
series, you have to watch it. Like, you
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 do.
have to
You
actually pay
100% do.
attention.
You
You got to
100%
watch it.
do.
You could put in Peacemaker and put it in, in the afternoon, and that's a good day.
Yep.
And you don't have to pay attention the entire time. You're
Sure.
gonna belly, So I'm
Yeah.
gonna say Peacemaker. Plus, the
I think they were lower.
character Peacemaker
Yeah.
was nothing. Like,
Right. I was gonna say that, lower expectations.
right.
Watchmen was such a great movie. You really hoping that the series didn't mess it up. And I remember after the
Yeah.
first episode of Watchmen going, "What the hell is like?" I
Yeah.
thought the show was good, but I'm like, it wasn't what I was expecting. Like, there's no Rorschach and all the things they're doing. I'm like, oh my! Then obviously by the end of it ended fantastic, right?
Yeah, it did.
It grew and grew and grew and grew and grew. As you want those, and again, that's why I think sometimes especially when we have shows that are on, that we talk about the episodic things, a lot of times even we will say, you got to let it burn. Like, you got to let the story develop, right? You can't have everything happen the first episode. That's a movie where you get from beginning to end in one sitting, right? This is a series. You need to let it grow. And also, all respect to Watchmen, that show did not give me things that's still in rotation in my music playlist. Like, Watchmen expanded my catalog so much,
Dude.
and I think is now my all-time favorite intro to a show.
I agree. I 100% agree. And if you've been watching our podcast or listening to our podcast, how much we loved Peacemaker. There's several shows that we're pretty close together when it comes to the shows.
Sure.
I mean, we both hated Andor
and Snore. Yes,
and Snore. Yeah, and
we both love She-Hulk more than most people. So we liked Andor less than most, at least who commented on the show.
Yeah.
We like She-Hulk markedly more than most people who commented on the show. But Peacemaker, I think still, Hawkeye is up there for me. Mm-hmm. Secret Invasion is going to be up there based on it. But I think in all the ways, probably I think because of our age bracket too, with a lot of the music that was in it, I think from a superhero show, I think Peacemaker, like you said, you can watch it in a day, enjoy it. It's got some heart to it, other than the language, some of the nudity. It's almost like one thing you would see on primetime, right? It's one of those shows that, and by the way, it's also helmed by a wrestler who, again, Dwayne Johnson's the biggest movie star in the world right now, or as I call him,
your eyebrow.
Yeah. But John Cena was not necessarily known for his acting chops and did such a phenomenal job in that. So again, I know we got a couple more things before we wrap this up, but I just want to say Peacemaker versus Watchmen. And I think we both agree Peacemaker. And come on, last thing is they actually did this in a intelligent way. They gave us a supervillain who is literally the Grand Dragon of the Ku Klux Klan.
Yeah.
Robert Patrick, that's a hard role to play, and you put your foot in it, sir.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. You played a hateful role, and everybody loves you for it. Literally, like man. So you are an expert at your craft.
The villains, the antagonists, I think, make the stories, and it takes a special person to take someone that hard to digest and at least make us where, you know what? Okay, we want to come back and watch him a little bit more. All right, sir. What's next?
Let's do a tat. Let's do some tats.
I got 3 tats for you. These are just as general. I want to see who you think will win in these contests, and each of these is going to feature the Margot Robbie Barbie. Now, before we get into this, I want to share with you my favorite Barbie, because I don't know if I've shared this with you. My favorite Barbie, and this was actually going to be an honest ad, but I didn't get a chance to get it written out. But here's my favorite Barbie. My favorite Barbie isn't like the rest of the Barbies. Oh no. My favorite Barbie is highly, highly educated. In fact, she has her doctorate in psychology. My favorite Barbie isn't saddled with one man and Ken. Oh no, 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 no. She's known for having different men in her life. Some she's known to have an attraction to a brooding billionaire
Mm-hmm.
and his ward.
Mm-hmm.
One of her best gal pals is an acclaimed botanist. And of course, the closest thing to a boo that she has is a struggling comedian who has a striking resemblance to one Johnny Cash. This particular Barbie loves with all she's got. She's been recruited for special government projects. She's been known to even hang out with Will Smith, who will remind you to keep her name out of your MFM mouth. And yes, she even kicked it with the Peacemaker. My favorite Barbie of all time. Also, is played by one Margot Robbie. She's the one, the only. If I can do my best, Jared Leto, the itch in his pants, the throb in his loins, Miss Harley Quinn.
Harleen Quinn.
Quinzel. Yes, sir. All right.
Well done, man. I
Thank
love
you.
it.
Thank you. So that was gonna be my honest side at the top of the dome. Hope that was okay. So here's the three quick ones, real quick.
Yeah.
So these are Margot Robbie as Barbie. What do you think about
Okay.
each one of these challenges? Who do you think will win? A Margot Robbie, but it's gonna be Margot Robbie versus Gem. Gem is her name.
Gem. Oh, that's a tough one, man.
And it's gonna be a Pepto Bismol because they both love some pink.
Yep.
They're gonna have a Pepto Bismol chugging contest. Barbie versus Gem.
Gem.
Fair.
She rocks, man. She's a rocker.
Yep.
In Barbie Land, she doesn't really know a ton. There's not a lot.
Yeah.
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 Which that needs to be the next thing they do. They need to make a Gem movie.
They made a horrible one, so they did make a good one. They make a good one.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Gem's gonna take that one.
First off, Rio may be the biggest idiot ever. Now, again, if you don't know the Gem show, you probably find it. But yeah, the guy that character Rio, the boyfriend of Erica / Gem, was like, dude, you're an idiot.
Mm-hmm.
You're an idiot. Okay, like he made Lois Lane look observant that he couldn't figure out who it was. Okay, all right. So next up, one of my personal favorites, another female icon from my childhood, the animated version of the Baroness. The Baroness versus Barbie playing Jenga.
So Baroness is gonna have that temper, and she may not. She's gonna only let it go a little bit. I don't see her being very patient in a game like.
But she's strategic. She is strategic. Got to give her that.
Very strategic. You know what? I'm gonna give this one to the Baroness.
Gotcha, sir.
As well, just because of that, because you reminded me about how strategic she is, and how much of she likes to think forward.
Yes.
And in here with Margot Robbie's Barbie, is the stereotypical Barbie,
right?
So she's smart, but again, with that smartness, there is a lot of naivety.
Yes. Well, I think there's one part before I give you my third and final one. There's a little bit of naivete that comes with this. She's been in a relationship with Ken for decades. And given her naivete with her long-term boyfriend, she didn't notice he was missing a little.
It's addressed.
Promise me, for real?
It's addressed.
That right there, I was going to go see it anyway. But that right there, I want to know nothing else. That right there, yes. So part of me goes, really? Which again, when I was a kid, that's why G.I. Joe would come around when Ken went to work.
Yeah, there's a lot of. Can't even finish that. Yeah.
And as Barbie
Woo!
learned when she would get visit, of course, for me it was always Roadblock that would come over to visit. And as Barbie learned, knowing
Is
is
half
half
the
the
battle.
battle. Yes, sir. Okay. All right. Oh God, we're going to hell. Okay. So last one, my final contest, and this will be a dance contest, a dance
Mm.
off.
Okay.
So it is Barbie versus from Saved by the Bell, Jesse Spano, and
On
a
caffeine
dance.
pills?
You without the diet pills, without the caffeine pills. Because remember, and of course, the song would be "I'm So Excited." So yes, seriously, it's moments like folks when I say this is my tag team partner, this is my brother from another mother. 100%, you were right there. I got to give you flowers, sir. You beat me to it. So who's winning, the DD or the Dance Dance Revolution? The I'm So Excited, Jesse Spano, no caffeine pills versus Barbie.
Margot Robbie's stereotypical Barbie doll. This is where she shines. Like,
Got you.
and when you're looking here, so if
Yes.
this was like a strip tease, something like that,
Sure, sure,
maybe
sure.
Jesse Spano's gonna take it. You know, the whole showgirls thing.
Yep, yep, yep,
Um,
yep.
but this isn't. This is a dance off.
Hanging out with the dumb driver from Speed. I
Right.
never could wrap my head around that
You
one.
know,
Yeah.
this isn't a beach. This isn't a beach me off. This is
Got you.
yeah. This is just a
Got you.
dance off, and Barbie can dance.
Well, as we saw in Suicide Squad, she does a great job hanging upside down and then running her head into the bars. So you would hope so. You
Yeah,
would hope so. You would
yeah.
hope so. All right, sir. So I'm getting the Pepto Bismol chugging contest. Pink on pink. You're giving that to Jim. Jenga. Just due to her strategic mind, even though she's got a bad temper, we're going at the Baroness. And then because they are so excited, but because there are no caffeine pills, you're taking Barbie over the one, the only Jesse Spano. Last
Yes.
question, real quick. Who do you like for the matchup with? Because we got to see Slater date Kelly Kapowski and Jesse a little bit. We got to see Zach with Kelly and Lisa for a little bit, and we saw Dustin Diamond when it was, it was one of those movies you had to pay like $5.99 for. But beyond that, the one thing we never got was Zach and Jesse.
Or
Do
Zach and Lisa.
No, we got Zach and Lisa. It was brief, but there is a Zach and Lisa one there.
Was
But
there?
yeah, there was a thing with Zach and Lisa.
Okay.
So there was a thing that Zach and Lisa, then what was Zach and Kelly, and then it was Zach and Lisa, and then we
Mhm.
got Kelly and Slater and Kelly and Jesse. And of course, um, but what were your thoughts on the Zach attack and Jesse Spano?
You know, I would have been okay with that. I actually would have been okay with it. And they should have done it.
That's the one that I
They
thought they
should
were
have.
missing. I was like, wait a minute, they're kind of like the brother sister thing. But if
Right.
George Lucas would have been directing it, then it'd have been
It
fine.
would have been fine.
It
Yeah,
would
yeah.
absolutely fine. All right, sir. Okay, sir. So you have done my tasks for me. We've done our tangents. I know we're getting close to the end of it. Do you have a better enough human of the week, sir?
You know, I do not. I think my brain is I was just yep, I don't got one. No, I don't got even got an excuse for it, but I'm gonna piggyback off of yours and I'm gonna say yes, that too.
Fantastic. All right. So I want to give you my my better than us human of the week. And my better than us human of the week is gonna start it's gonna be the one the only Daniel Radcliffe, aka Harry Potter. And the reason that he is my better than us human of the week was something that just came across my YouTube page in the last few days, which is on an episode of the Tonight Show. You may not know this, but apparently Daniel Radcliffe is a huge hip hop fan.
Oh,
And
I do know this.
have you seen then, if you know this, have you seen him doing the ABCs of rap?
Yes, I have.
Folks in our listening and viewing audience, I was unaware. I have never been both horrified and impressed by a video that I could watch at work as much as this one. and I mean that from the bottom of my heart. It's one of the things I don't even got to get rid of on my browser history, which
Mhm.
is Daniel Radcliffe doing the ABCs of rap.
Yes.
So I
Do
am
your
a
research.
late comer to this. It happens when you're north of 40, and I am now a bigger fan of his. So because of his skills at the ABCs of rap, and if you get a chance to watch any of his interviews, talk about someone that grew up in the limelight that has handled it. All three of those folks,
Mhm.
the primary three from the Potter series, but really how he's handled that being Harry Potter and being a British kid who lived in the UK for the entirety of that franchise, and about as level headed as you're gonna get when you it'll be basically someone being Spider-Man here when they are 8, 9, 10 years old and living with that when it was new. So with that, Daniel Radcliffe, I salute you with the ABCs of rap. And if you're looking for something that's gonna brighten your social media feed, look it up. Daniel Radcliffe doing the ABCs of rap from Jimmy Fallon. It is one of the better things you'll see.
Awesome. I love it. All right. With that, let's go ahead and close everything down.
Let's hit it.
Brian, where can we find you?
You can find me on the Book of Faces, Brian Stephen Dennis. Give me a like, give me a follow, give me a friend's request. As always, I try and keep it light, keep it funny, and we can just get a little weird together.
Awesome. You can tweet at me at now. Yeah, go ahead. Fandemic 3 if you really want to.
Yeah,
Don't get
yeah.
mad if I don't respond because I don't check it very
He
often.
doesn't do it, folks. But go
Yeah.
right ahead. Yeah.
Yep. You can
But
message
are
me
you
on
verified? Are you verified? You got the blue
no.
check? Okay. Yeah.
No.
Okay.
You can message me on the Facebook at the Fandemic. I'm Bradley Butin on Instagram. I'm also pretty active on TikTok, especially this week
Yes,
at the
sir.
Fandemic 1. You hear my reviews. I've been doing a bunch of first reactions. I'm gonna start doing a lot more of those as well. First reactions for movies and things like that, and so much more. Now, if you want to support the show, there are several ways you can do so. You can buy me a coffee at buymeacoffee.com/the Fandemic. Find us on Patreon at www.patreon.com/PVOTN Fandemic. Become an episode assistant, an episode producer, a pre-venge producer like Stacy, or become part of the con yourself. Yes, you can be part of the Council of Nerds, starting at about $5 a month. You can become a monthly supporter on Anchor. You can go to PayPal or Venmo at Bradley Butan, or just share the show with someone you want to make a little more awesome. Remember, I wrote the book on leveling up your awesome, and don't forget to leave a 5-star review. Thanks for leveling up my awesome and being part of the Fandemic family. Now, Brian, we have hit max levels of awesome for the week. Let's end the show on a positive note like we always do. What do you got, buddy?
Again, ladies, gentlemen, everyone in our viewing and listening audience, thank you so much for joining us as this is the best part of our week. We hope it's in the top 5 of yours. So with that being said, please remember, no retreat, no surrender, and Goonies, never say die.
All right, you're welcome for leveling up your awesome. Live for your die empty. If you think about it, every time you feel stupid, you just got a little smarter. And lastly, remember, squirrels' cheeks are also their nut sacks. Have a good day.
Bye bye.
Oh, bye bye.